Hey, everybody, Marcus Carlton back here with you for another edition of the Talking Stick podcast. Going to be talking a little bit of softball and a little bit of volleyball today with Coach Schwarz in her first year at Westside, but she's not new to Westside. She's just new in this position. So stick with us. We've got a good conversation coming up. All right, back here on the Talking Stick podcast, welcoming in new softball coach and junior high volleyball coach, Brittnee Schwarz. Coach Schwarz, thank you so much for coming on the Talking Stick.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, all right, I teased it a little bit in the background. I said you were new to this position, but you're not new to Westside. If there happens to be anybody out there that doesn't know you or doesn't know your background, give us a quick rundown.
All right, so I'm actually a Westside graduate. I graduated in 2016, so I'm back home in my alma mater. In 2016, I went to UCA for college and graduated there in 2021. I originally went for exercise science because I was a tri-sport athlete in high school, played all basketball, volleyball, softball, all of that. And then I switched to education where I grew into loving coaching because I was coaching JO at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there I got hired at Truman, and I originally was just a seventh grade coach there. And then in the middle of the summer, the head quit, and they made me head of 7th through 12th there, and I was volunteering with the softball team as well there.
So no pressure. It's just like, all of a sudden you're kind of thrown straight to the fire almost.
Yes. It was a lot of learning, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of on the job learning. So, well, welcome back home. It's always nice to have alumni come back and take a job, shaping the young minds and the young athletes that are moving forward that are representing the Warriors now. So, welcome back home. Nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back home.
I bet. So, all right, tell us a little bit about Coach Schwarz. So, what's a staple of we'll do softball first. We'll do softball.
Okay.
So softball, what's your mindset?
So for softball, I'm really coming from a softball player originally. I'm really big on aggressiveness. We're gonna be really big aggressive pushing the bases this year because I want to put pressure on top of any type of defense. We have quick girls, so aggressiveness has been a thing, and also mental toughness, not just in softball but volleyball as well. We've seen a lot of mentally weak players throughout the years, and not just this year, but from the years past. And I'm trying to get in through to the girls that you've got to be mentally tough just as well as strong tough as well, because every mistake counts, but it's how we bounce back from mistakes. So.
Yeah, I've noticed just watching sports from a distance, because I mean, you know me, I'm a big sports junkie, but the ability to have that mental toughness and not let mistakes stack on each other, not let one become two become three, to kind of have that short-term memory to where you're like, okay, that play's gone, it's over.
Yeah.
I'll fix it on the next one. I don't know. I don't envy you with that battle of trying to teach that mental toughness.
It's definitely been, so I've seen it through our volleyball program, just when me and Coach Ziegler has taken over it a lot this summer. And that's one thing this summer we talked to the girls about. We've got to be able to play the same mentality through the first set and through that fifth set when you're tired. So that's what I want to put in softball. We got to play the same as the first game of the week to the seventh game of the week. We have to have that mental toughness, because if we're not mentally tough, then we're going to see a downfall in our playing.
Yeah, I did an interview for this podcast with Coach Ziegler earlier in the season, and she talked a little bit about the focusing on the mental toughness and getting to that point where, because it's you're going to think you're tired before your body actually gives out. Your mind's going to give up before your body does, and trying to teach that to where push yourself and push yourself beyond your limits and dig deep. And I love it. I love the fact that you're teaching these young ladies that are athletes how to deal with tough situations, because as you well know, life, once you get out of being an athlete and you move on, life is tough. It's not going to be all easy. And the better you are at handling adversity at a young age, the better you'll be at it when you get into the adult world.
Yes, I totally agree because even adults struggle with mental toughness a lot of times. So
Absolutely.
if we can get that where the girls will not struggle as they leave us, then that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we'll switch gears. We'll talk to volleyball. I imagine it's a lot of the same approach in volleyball as softball, but go ahead and lay it out for us.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like I talk about aggressiveness in softball and base running and just pushing each other, but it's the same way in volleyball. Like I'm trying to teach these girls that every play we're going hard every time, no matter if you think the ball's down, the ball's not down until you've let it hit the ground. So we're going hard, we're going tough every single play of the match. So that's really been my focus this volleyball season, and honestly, it applies to softball as well. Like I want to see us laying out for balls. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
us not giving up at the plate when we're 0 and 2 or striking out when we it's a big play at the time.
Yeah,
So
and I'm going to go off script a little bit here, but I got to throw this question at you because I feel like it's very relevant to everything we're talking about. But with you being an alumni and knowing the history of the volleyball program and knowing the history of the softball program, uh, tell me how that factors in when you're trying to preach this to your athletes of, look, we have a standard,
mhm.
that tell me a little bit about that.
So it's really cool that I get to talk about some of my experiences when I was in
Hmm.
school because a lot of the girls will be like, they'll be like, well, what was it like? Because when I was in softball, I had Coach Katie Edelman now at the
Hmm.
time, and so I use a lot of her philosophy because she's one of my like mentors, like a person I really looked up to growing up, and I still reach out to her for advice, not just teaching but for coaching and stuff. So like it's cool to be able to tie in what like because we were very successful in the softball program when I was in school. We went to state tournament every year. And same with the volleyball program. We were in state every year. I reached the state finals my freshman year and when I got pulled up. So it was just I know what success looks like and it's so cool to be able to talk to the girls about that as well.
So how many times do you open your mouth and your old coach comes out?
Yeah, and, quite a few.
Guilty as charged, huh?
Hmm. Either Coach
Yeah,
Edelman or Coach Julie Tubbs was my
yeah.
volleyball at the time. So
Yeah, I understand that, because it's very similar with me and my two boys that are at home with me now. It's like I'm to the point now where I open my mouth and I say something like, "Oh God, that's my dad," or
hmm
"That's my mom." It's I imagine it's a lot of the same thing with a coach that was so influential on you. So that's always kind of funny to come back to later on because as a kid you're thinking, "I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to be
yeah,
like that," and then it comes out and you're like, "Oh, what did I
I
just do?"
just did it. Yes.
So we still got a little bit of time before softball gets here. I believe you said that the softball gets underway. I believe March 2nd. I think is what you
Yeah,
said.
opening day, March 2nd.
Yeah. So uh, from let's say from now through January, what kind of you know is there anything going on? Is it like weight training? Is it conditioning? Or do you have a lot of the girls that are playing volleyball that you can't really do much with right now?
That's so the thing about Westside is we're such a small school. All of us,
Hmm.
our girls programs, we share a lot of the same athletes. Pretty much all of my softball players right now are in volleyball, and then unfortunately, a lot of them go to, which is a good thing. I'm not saying
Right. Right.
they go to basketball too. So a lot of them I don't see until right before season starts. But I do have two or three that I have a few cheerleaders. I have some other that'll play, and I'm about to have my second tryout actually next Friday for anyone that has moved in by chance or anyone that may have missed the first tryout. And I'm hoping to get a lot of things rolling. It might not
Mhm.
necessarily be at, like doing drills and stuff right now just because I'm in the midst of volleyball season.
Right.
But right when volleyball seasons, I'm hoping to get rolling because there's a lot of things that I'm ready to get started and get ready for this next season with them.
Yeah, I like the way that you talked about the sharing of the athletes because you do, and we hear a lot about specialization or do you try to play everything. I personally, and I'm not a coach, I'm just a parent and a big sports junkie, but I like to see kids play as many different sports as they can, and until they get to a point where they figure out which one is their, I guess, their
Hmm.
best sport. But I like to see, I'm trying to encourage my boys to do as much as they can early on to figure out which direction they want to go with.
We always tell our girls like we want y'all to do the more sport, the better. I mean, it just prevents injuries. Like the
Hmm.
more sports you play, because you're using different muscles of your body and stuff.
Right.
So whatever we always like, I'll be like, all right, who's gonna like? Even my seventh graders right now, a lot of I only have like one seventh grader planning on going to basketball, and I told them I said, hey, we really support y'all playing basketball. Not that we don't want y'all in the off season, but
Right.
because we want to help our other programs out as well, and it makes you a better player all over around, especially at such a young age. It really is important for us, and we do promote that, and we support it 100%. Now, do I wish I had? We all wish we had more time with our girls right before season starts, but
Yeah.
we totally understand it as well. So
But with there being so many athletes, like you mentioned, most of your girls are playing volleyball right now. Do you feel like that sometimes there is an advantage to have those girls like have the same ones in volleyball that are going to be, your main players in softball? Because it's almost like you know what you're coming into personality wise, and you know how to adjust how you coach one
yeah,
player versus the other.
yeah, I definitely think so. Like I love having these girls, and it's weird because for the senior high girls, which are most of the girls that'll be on the volleyball team or softball team, I'm just the assistant coach, so they get to have that different connection with
Hmm.
me as assistant coach rather than coming to softball where I'm going to be the head coach and maybe a little more stricter on some things for softball and just some stuff like that. But it's great to be able to build that relationship with them now early on, and then when I step into the role as head softball, that they'll have that trust with me and that connection with me.
Yeah, March 2nd will be here, before we know it. We're already into September
It's
now.
crazy.
I was talking with Coach Genesee earlier. We had recorded an episode earlier, and basketball starts around November 11th for him. And he's like, we've been speeding through. We're already through September, and I said, Coach, October is probably going to go faster than November did. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for you, once you cross that threshold of maybe right after Christmas, everything will probably be a blur right after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. I mean, that's kind of how it works. And before we know it, we'll be back in the long summer, ish days when softball is in the heart of its season. So, uh, what if there was one thing that you want your players, and this could be volleyball or softball or both, that you want your players that you want to see from them? What's the one thing you would want to see from them?
Um, Probably really it's just commitment and buy-in this year.
Hmm.
Like a lot of I know from the softball side of it, I've been the assistant for the past 2 years, and so I've got to see how the program's been ran for the past 2 years. And I
Yeah.
love Coach Greenwell, and I love everything about. And I want to come in with a new expectation of the program and
Hmm.
really dive in, being a little more tougher on the girls because I think they have the capabilities of going really far. And just I've seen them buy in volleyball this season, like the senior high has really bought in. They're ready to fight. They're ready to go. And I want to see that from the softball team because I really can see great things in their future and in the next few years in the softball program as well.
Absolutely. All right, we've done enough serious stuff. We've got a couple of fun questions here that we'll kind of finish up with. So, uh, your former athlete, you mentioned that. I know you've got some kind of game day routine. What's the superstition? What's the game day routine?
So I'm actually a very superstitious person. So it doesn't like this past season, me and my son, which my son's only 2.5,
Hmm.
so I take him to his where he stays. He stays with my grandmother for the day, and we find a random hype song, and that's what we listen to on the way to there. And it could be the most randomest song, but if it has a good beat and stuff, like he
Yeah.
picked it out this year, and it was actually the bar song by I don't
Yeah.
even whoever it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and we would just he was the one that tip, and we literally that was just it every game day we listened to it on the way and it was funny because it actually started the night we beat Brooklyn at home last year, and I was like, you know what, it's the song,
You got to
so
keep it then. Yeah.
keep going with it.
Absolutely.
And it might be the silliest song, but it's fun, and and I'm really, like I said, I'm really superstitious, so if we won a game and I did something special that day, I'll be like, I gotta do it again. So
Yeah, I can relate. Back in the Stone Age when I played ball, I was I'm still superstitious.
yes.
Whether it comes to my favorite teams, or back a couple years ago when my daughter was still in school and they were playing. when it come district tournament time, I got very like extreme superstitious to the point where my wife looked at me like, you are nuts. But
That's
I don't know. It's just, I think it's something about being an athlete, and it's part of your routine. And then you're like, okay, well, I did this yesterday and I played really good last night, so I'm going to do the same thing today. I mean, it's
I'm with that with my girls too. Like for instance, this last softball season, we had one of our freshmen. She'd done really good a game, and then the next game she did really bad, and we were like, "What's going on?" She was like, "It was my hair. I wore my hair different this year." And I was like, "Well, we need to fix the back to the way we did it
I
because
love it.
I just support the superstition." I was like, "Because I'm
Yes.
like that too." So
I love it. That's great. I mean, I have I've been known to when I'm watching a Razorback game or something, if something goes bad, which is pretty often, honestly, I've been known to like change shirts in the middle of the game to try to change the mojo. Like I have any, like I'm gonna have any effect on it, but
yes,
that's just it's just the mold that I'm cut from. But anyway, so I'm glad to see that I'm not alone and I'm in good company
no.
here with the superstition thing. Uh, okay, so we've talked a lot of softball, a lot of volleyball. Um, Outside of those two, what's something about Coach Schwartz that maybe everybody doesn't know?
Mm, I don't know. I'm really family oriented, I guess I would have to say.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents are like my whole world. They've been my biggest support system since I was in school, and they still come to
Yeah.
my games to support me as I coach and stuff. My grandma retired last year or 2 years ago, and so she was able to start watching my son for me. So that helped me a lot out.
Oh
And then
yeah.
so it helped us a lot. And so I guess I'm real like my son and my husband pretty much are my world, and we love traveling. Like traveling is our biggest like go to. We like to hit all the MLB stadiums because my husband's a big baseball
Okay.
guru,
All right.
so we
That's
love
cool.
going and seeing the baseball stadiums we can reach. So
So what's been the coolest MLB stadium you've been to?
so I'm a Cardinal fan,
Yep.
but my husband is not. Well, his family is, but he's been a Mariners fan for a long time.
Okay.
And so we haven't made it to Seattle as a family, but we went to Houston, and I actually like Houston. I don't care for Houston, but
Right.
I actually
Yeah.
like their field a lot. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a Cardinal fan out there that when you say Houston, they're not going to think of the big bomb that Albert Pujols hit, back in the playoffs several years ago. But
Yes.
that's off. I believe it was Brad Lidge he hit the pitch off of. But that's one memory I always have of the Astros, and at that time the Astros and the Cardinals was a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
So that was that was to me that was almost better than like Westside beating Brooklyn at that point. But it's one of those deals. So okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here,
No,
but I got
you're
to know
good.
you said your husband's a Mariners fan. Is he a big
Mm.
King Griffey Jr. guy?
Yeah, a little bit.
A
A
little
little
bit,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That may be more my era, but it's but yeah, I can't say Seattle without thinking about Griffey and when he was there. So that's always pretty cool to
Yeah,
me,
it's
anyway.
fun because our best friends, like he's a Ranger fan,
Uh
so
huh.
they always go at it with each other a lot. So it's fun like that. We'll go to a lot of Rangers games, especially when the Seattle is in Texas. So
All right, last question on the MLB thing, and then I'll let you get out of here off of this. But I kind of got off chasing rabbits here. But what's the one stadium you haven't been to that you guys are that it's top of your priority list?
I want to go to the Rocky Stadium,
Yeah.
Colorado.
Okay.
I want to go there and see it. But I'm like, yeah, our friends right now, they're actually in Washington, D.C., so they're about to see the Nationals one. And I was like,
Oh,
well, okay,
cool.
I'm jealous there too. So, but yeah, I really want to go to Colorado. And we love the mountains and
Hmm.
everything about it. We went to Glacier, Montana a few
Oh,
years
wow.
ago, and I like fell in love with it. So I'm all about going to the mountains right now. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah.
Well, there you go. We kind of peeled back the curtain a little bit and give everybody a behind the scenes look at Coach Schwartz and the whole MLB thing. I hope you guys can knock out the rest of them off your list here very
I hope
soon. So,
so.
yeah, and hopefully it'll have to wait until I guess what the softball finals come up like in early May, I think. So it might have to
Yeah.
be maybe it'd have to be June before y'all actually get to go do anything because we're still playing
Yeah.
softball as long as we can. So. Uh, Anyway, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you head up the softball program this spring, and you ladies keep churning away on that volleyball program, and we'll be hanging banners soon enough in both sports.
Well, I appreciate it. I really hope so.
So, all right. Well, that's going to put a bow on this episode of the Talking Stick podcast. Want to thank Coach Schwarz again for stopping by and giving us a little insight into both the junior high volleyball program and the softball program. We'll see you next time on the Talking Stick.